There are unspoken rules in attraction, boundaries carved by wisdom and experience. While desire often breaks age, class, and background, there are decisions shaped not by passion, but by principle. An older woman, with years of lessons written into her soul, carries an understanding of love that isn't swayed by fleeting temptations. Her choices reflect more than physical desire. They reflect identity, self-worth, and a profound recognition of what aligns with her journey. Emotional maturity is not something that arrives with age alone, but time does polish and shape it in ways experience cannot be replaced. For an older woman, this maturity becomes the lens through which she views every connection, every exchange, every possibility of intimacy. When she looks at a younger man, it is not his youth that dissuades her, it is the absence of depth that often comes with that stage of life. A younger man might carry charm, energy, and enthusiasm, but his understanding of emotions is still being carved out of trial and error. He may feel deeply, but he has not yet learned to translate those feelings into patience, commitment, or wisdom. An older woman has already passed through that fire. She has been molded by heartbreak, healed by solitude, and elevated by the lessons of loving and losing. She does not merely feel, she understands. She does not just react, she responds. She has learned that passion without understanding burns too quickly, and she refuses to let herself be scorched again. The gap between them is not in years, but in perspective. A younger man might mistake intensity for love, confusion for excitement, and instability for freedom. He might thrive in the thrill of chasing emotions without always recognizing the responsibility that comes with them. An older woman has long since outgrown the rush of temporary highs. She knows that emotions are not games to be played with, nor are they trophies to be won. For her, emotions are sacred, a language of the soul that deserves respect, not recklessness. She carries herself with a calm strength, one that no longer seeks validation through chaos, but through connection. In her eyes, emotional maturity is the difference between lust and love, between attachment and partnership, between temporary comfort and lasting peace. A younger man may desire her, even admire her, but desire is not enough for a woman who has learned the value of emotional grounding. She needs someone who listens, not just hears, someone who sees, not just looks, someone who understands silence as much as they appreciate conversation. These are qualities that require years of inner work, the kind of work many younger men are only beginning to explore. It is not a judgment, nor is it a dismissal. It is simply a truth she has embraced. Without maturity, intimacy feels shallow. Without depth, desire loses its meaning. Without emotional grounding, even the most passionate nights can leave the heart feeling cold. She knows this because she has lived it before, and she has no intention of repeating it. To her, choosing not to sleep with a younger man is not about denying attraction. It is about protecting her soul from imbalance. It is about honoring the wisdom she has earned and refusing to settle for something that lacks the very essence she values most. In that choice lies her strength, her dignity, and the undeniable power of emotional maturity. Different life stages create a silent wall between two people, even when attraction tries to pull them closer. An older woman carries within her the rhythm of a life already shaped by lessons, responsibilities, and a clear understanding of what she wants. She has walked through years of building herself, facing the weight of choices that defined her direction, and now her focus is not on experimenting with beginnings, but on sustaining balance. A younger man, on the other hand, is often at the start of his journey, still discovering his identity, still tasting the sweetness of freedom, still testing limits to understand where he belongs. When these two worlds meet, the difference is not subtle. It is a constant reminder that their timelines do not align. A younger man may crave adventure, the rush of newness, the thrill of constant change. He wants to climb mountains, chase dreams, and sometimes even stumble through failures just to learn what works for him. His life is still unfolding, full of restless curiosity and ambition. An older woman, however, has already crossed many of those mountains. She has fallen, risen, and found clarity in what truly matters. Her goals are no longer about endless exploration, but about protecting the peace she has fought for. She does not need to experiment with every possibility because she already knows the difference between temporary satisfaction and lasting fulfillment. This difference in life stages creates a misalignment in priorities. While he may see excitement in spontaneity, she sees stability as priceless. While he may value risk-taking, she values preservation of what she has built. He might want to stay up chasing nights, but she has learned the importance of restful mornings. These are not just habits, they are reflections of values, shaped by the point in life each person stands upon. When one wants to speed forward while the other wants to slow down and savor, it is not a matter of compromise. It is a matter of rhythm, and their songs rarely match. Beyond habits and desires, there is also the weight of responsibility. A younger man may still be shaping his financial, emotional, and professional world. He might be building foundations, testing his strength, and sometimes even prioritizing his own growth above all else. An older woman is often past that stage. She seeks a partner who can stand beside her as an equal, someone who can provide balance instead of adding uncertainty. She does not want to mother or mentor, she wants to share. But with someone still finding their ground, she is forced into roles she has no desire to play. The truth is, attraction cannot bridge timelines. When two people are at entirely different stages of life, their connection may ignite, but it cannot sustain. An older woman understands this deeply. She recognizes that intimacy without aligned priorities leads to conflict, and connection without harmony leads to exhaustion. By refusing to intertwine herself with someone walking a different path, she is not rejecting desire, she is honoring her wisdom. She knows that love without rhythm is noise, and she has no space left in her life for anything less than harmony. Power imbalance weaves itself silently into relationships where one partner carries more years of experience, stability, and understanding than the other. An older woman recognizes this imbalance immediately, for she has lived long enough to know when the scales are tilted. A younger man often seeks validation, a sense of importance, or even the thrill of proving himself, while she values balance, equality, and mutual respect. To her, intimacy is not a game of who leads and who follows. It is a partnership where both stand as equals. But when the connection is marked by uneven weight, she refuses to step into it, because imbalance breeds dependence, and dependence eventually erodes respect. A younger man may unconsciously look to her for guidance, drawn to her wisdom and steadiness. He may find in her the calm he does not yet carry within himself. For him, her maturity feels like a safe harbor, a place to lean on when his own footing is shaky. But she has no desire to become a teacher in a space meant for lovers. She does not want to hold responsibility for someone else's growth, especially in the sacred realm of intimacy. She knows that once power is uneven, once one partner gives more and the other takes more, the relationship becomes lopsided. Love cannot flourish where one is always the anchor and the other is always drifting. The imbalance also shows itself in subtle ways. A younger man, still testing his identity, may use the relationship to validate his strength, his desirability, or his worth. To him, being with an older woman can feel like a conquest, a symbol of maturity he has not yet earned. But for her, such validation is hollow, because she is not looking to be someone's trophy or stepping stone. She has built her confidence through years of trials. She no longer seeks proof of her value in the eyes of anyone. To give herself to someone still trapped in the need for validation would mean lowering her standards, and she has no intention of surrendering her dignity. Power imbalance also disrupts emotional reciprocity. She has the capacity to offer stability, wisdom, and guidance, but what does he give in return? If his contribution is excitement without depth, passion without consistency, or desire without responsibility, then the exchange is unfair. She is too aware of the dangers of giving more than she receives, for she has lived through relationships where imbalance drained her spirit. Now, she protects her energy fiercely, ensuring that anyone who enters her life does so with equal footing, equal respect, and equal investment. This is why an older woman never surrenders to the pull of a younger man. She knows that imbalance will never turn into harmony. She refuses to place herself in a dynamic where her wisdom becomes a crutch instead of a treasure, where her presence becomes a lesson instead of a connection. For her, true intimacy is not about one holding power over the other, but about both standing tall, meeting eye to eye, heart to heart, soul to soul. Anything less than that is unworthy of her time, her body, and her spirit. Long-term vision is the compass that guides relationships from fleeting passion into lasting partnership, and an older woman knows this truth with clarity. She has lived through seasons where desire felt overwhelming, only to watch it fade when direction was absent. She has seen what happens when love is built on impulse rather than purpose. It crumbles when storms arrive. A younger man often thrives on exploration, on chasing what feels good in the moment, and while that energy may be intoxicating, it lacks the stability she requires. She does not dismiss his spirit, but she cannot entrust her peace to someone still searching for his path. For her, intimacy is not about tonight, but about tomorrow. She considers where emotions will lead, how connections will grow, and what kind of foundation they will rest upon. She knows that love without vision is like building a house on sand. It may look beautiful, but it cannot endure. A younger man, however, is often still building himself, not yet certain of his goals, his values, or his direction. He may promise the world, but his promises are made in the language of youth, full of intention, yet untested by time. She, on the other hand, has no desire to gamble her soul on potential. She seeks certainty, or at least the strength of aligned purpose. The absence of long-term vision is not always about irresponsibility. It is about the natural stage of his journey. He is meant to wander, to explore, to taste life without heavy commitments. That stage has its beauty, but it does not match the stage of a woman who has already wandered and returned, already tasted and chosen, already learned the cost of misdirection. She does not crave endless possibilities. She values clarity. She does not want to start over every season. She wants continuity. She does not dream of what could be. She invests in what will be. Even if attraction draws them together, the imbalance of vision eventually reveals itself. While he may think of the next thrill, she is considering the next chapter. While he looks at her as an exciting experience, she looks at him and sees instability. This divergence creates tension, for she cannot lower her standards to match a life without direction. She knows that without vision, affection turns into confusion and passion turns into regret. She has reached a point in life where her choices must align with her peace, not disrupt it. This is why an older woman never intertwines herself with a younger man. It is not a matter of disliking him, but a matter of protecting her own journey. She has built too much to risk it on someone still building himself. She has learned too much to waste it on someone still learning where to go. She has seen too much to believe that passion without vision can ever bring her the stability she deserves. Her refusal is not rejection. It is wisdom born from experience and guided by the clarity of a long-term vision that she refuses to compromise. Energy misalignment is one of the quietest yet most powerful forces that shapes the outcome of a relationship. An older woman knows this intimately because her spirit has already settled into a rhythm refined by years of experiences, victories, and scars. She carries patience where once she carried restlessness. She has learned to breathe before reacting, to pause before deciding, to let wisdom guide her instead of impulse. Her energy is steady, calm, and deliberate, like a river that has found its course. A younger man, however, often carries the fire of impatience, the thrill of risk, the desire to leap before looking. His energy is quick, untamed, and ever-changing. It may spark attraction, but sparks cannot light a lasting fire without alignment. For him, spontaneity is fuel. He thrives on unpredictability, on testing limits, on rushing into the unknown. For her, peace is sacred. She values routines, boundaries, and the safety of knowing where she stands. His world is full of constant motion, while hers is shaped by intentional stillness. When these two energies collide, they don't merge, they clash. She does not want to be pulled into chaos, nor does she want to mother someone into stillness. She knows from experience that when energies are mismatched, even love becomes exhausting. She has grown past the need to chase temporary highs. She no longer seeks drama disguised as passion or chaos disguised as love. Her energy demands harmony, not turbulence. When a younger man brings his whirlwind of restlessness into her life, she recognizes it for what it is, a stage of growth he must go through, but one she has already surpassed. To step into that storm again would mean undoing the balance she has fought to achieve. She will not surrender her calm to live in someone else's confusion. Energy misalignment also shows itself in communication. He may rush into conversations, eager to prove his point or defend his pride, while she values silence, reflection, and the wisdom of measured words. He may see patience as hesitation, while she sees impulsiveness as recklessness. These differences are not small. They cut deep, and over time they erode connection. She knows that to constantly adjust her pace to match his would mean betraying herself, and she has learned never to betray her own spirit for the sake of someone else's journey. The beauty of her energy is that it does not seek to dominate, but it refuses to be diminished. She will not slow her wisdom to match his speed, nor will she accelerate her peace to chase his chaos. She requires alignment, the kind where two souls move in rhythm, not in conflict. And because she knows this, she steps away from a younger man, no matter how strong the pull of attraction may be. She understands that love without energetic harmony turns into struggle, and struggle without balance turns into loss. For her, protecting her energy is protecting her essence, and that is something she will never compromise. Respect and standards are the silent guardians of an older woman's choices, and they are the reason she never compromises herself for the fleeting excitement of a younger man. She has walked through enough relationships, enough heartbreaks, and enough lessons to understand that dignity is not something to be bargained with. Every decision she makes now is shaped by a deep awareness of her worth. A worth that was not given to her but earned through years of struggle and growth. She has built herself back up from the time she was broken, and from those ashes rose a woman who knows exactly what she deserves. To allow herself to be swept into something shallow, uncertain, or temporary would be a betrayal of the very self she fought so hard to protect. A younger man may approach her with desire, with charm, even with admiration. But she measures more than words and actions. She measures intent. She looks beyond surface attraction and asks, does this connection honor who I am, or does it diminish me? Does it offer me stability and respect, or does it tempt me into chaos disguised as love? For her, intimacy is sacred, not casual. It is not about proving she can still attract someone younger, nor is it about seeking validation in the eyes of youth. She does not need reminders of her beauty, her power, or her presence. She already carries those truths within her. Her standards ensure she will never settle for attention when what she requires is devotion. Self-respect also means understanding that her body and soul are not rewards to be given to someone unprepared for their weight. A younger man may bring enthusiasm, but if he cannot match her depth, his presence becomes emptiness. She knows this, and she refuses to step into connections that leave her drained. She values quality over quantity, depth over surface, substance over charm. These are not rigid expectations. They are boundaries created from self-love. They are the shields that protect her from being reduced to an experience, a story, or a conquest. Her standards are not about arrogance, they are about alignment. She expects honesty because she has no time for lies. She expects commitment because she has no interest in games. She expects emotional depth because she has no desire to return to shallow waters she has already outgrown. A younger man, still shaping his identity, often struggles to meet these standards, not out of malice, but simply because his journey is unfinished. Yet she cannot and will not lower the bar for anyone, because she knows that every time she compromises her standards, she compromises her peace. This is why an older woman never sleeps with a younger man. Not because she lacks attraction, but because she refuses to abandon the fortress of self-respect she has built. She honors herself enough to wait for alignment, enough to walk away from what does not serve her, and enough to protect the value of her spirit. Her standards are her power, her self-respect is her shield, and together they ensure she never settles for less than what she truly deserves. In the end, the choice of an older woman is never about denying attraction. It is about protecting peace, honoring wisdom, and safeguarding the dignity she has built through years of experience. She does not reject youth. She simply refuses to let temporary excitement compromise the depth of her spirit. Her boundaries are not walls, but reflections of self-love, a declaration that she values stability over chaos, substance over surface, and vision over impulse. By choosing not to give herself to a younger man, she is not closing a door on love. She is keeping it open only for the kind of love that stands equal to her strength, her wisdom, and her worth. That choice is her power, and it is what makes her truly untouchable.